Well, good morning, Lionhearts. How are you guys today? It's your old pal Jordan, and I'm sorry you guys didn't get to see Ja. I took him out for a quick walk, but I gotta hit the road because I told you guys that I have a morning vlog today. So you know what the vlog is today? Two actors that I think everybody in the world loves. You never hear anybody ever say a bad word about Goldie Hawn or Kurt Russell. So they're both getting a star on the Walk of Fame together today. Not too far from where I live. Everybody seemed to love the John Goodman vlog, so let's go see Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn, America's favorite couple, get their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame today. And I heard Quentin Tarantino is going to be there as well. One photo? I'm thinking that they're going to drive over.
President and CEO of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, which is presenting today's special double Walk of Fame ceremony. Goldie is an Academy Award winning actress, producer, director, best-selling author, and children's advocate. And feel free to cheer for whatever you like. Goldie is one of the most recognizable and beloved actresses in Hollywood. Her gift for performing began at age 3, which is when she started dancing. She rose to prominence as part of the cast of the iconic comedy show Laugh-In. In 1969, Goldie won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her work in Cactus Flower. Goldie has produced many other films for movies and television, such as Protocol, Wildcats, Overboard, My Blue Heaven, Something to Talk About, When Billy Beat Bobby, The Matthew Shepard Story, and Mad Money. Kurt is celebrating 6 decades of delivering memorable comedic and dramatic performances, as well as creating iconic film characters. He was born in Springfield, Massachusetts, for those of you from the East, and started his acting career in 1961 at the age of 10.
Please keep moving.
Well, starting at 10 deserves applause. In 1963, he starred in the title role on ABC's Western The Travels of Jamie McPheeters. And throughout his early years, he appeared in some of television's most storied shows, including Gilligan's Island, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Lost in Space, Daniel Boone, Gunsmoke, and Love American Style, among many others. He also starred in 2 other network series along the way, NBC's The New Land and ABC's Western The Quest. Now, he also began one of the longest-lasting relationships in movie history between an actor and a studio with the Walt Disney Studio. Signed by Walt Disney himself to a 7-year exclusive contract, Kurt first starred with Fred MacMurray and Vera Miles in 1966's Follow Me Boys. And for that performance, he was singled out as the newcomer of the year. And let me add that the Disney relationship continues today with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which will be released tomorrow. Now, it was perhaps for his performance as Elvis Presley in ABC's highly acclaimed Elvis that alerted the world to the wide range of roles that this actor had in store. Kurt received a Primetime Emmy nomination for Elvis, and so began a vast array of unique characters in an equally wide range of genres throughout his career. Other films include, and cheer for your favorites, Used Cars, Escape from New York, The Thing, Silkwood, and Swing Shift. Now, it was during this movie where Goldie and Kurt fell in love and started what would become one of filmdom's most heralded and long-lasting love affairs. They would star together one last time, at least so far, in one of the most beloved romantic comedies of our generation, Overboard. And yet to come was the insane, broken-down, car-crashing killer stuntman Mike in Quentin Tarantino's retro 70s Death Proof.
Stuntman Mike!
And that was followed by another Tarantino partnership as the bombastic, paranoid bounty hunter John the Hangman Ruth in The Hateful Eight. I think you've heard enough of me. Let's bring our honorees to the stage. Please help welcome Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell to the stage. Filmmaker, writer-director who has established himself as one of the most celebrated filmmakers of his generation. His films include The Hateful Eight, Django Unchained, Inglourious Bastards, Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2, and many more. Please welcome Walk of Famer Quentin Tarantino to the stage.
Well, I won't be up here that long. However, I would like to say one of the things that's I think is so terrific about Kurt getting this. I think there's a wonderful old Hollywoodness. I'm even seeing Johnny Grant's picture here is making me think that. All right, there's this wonderful old Hollywood quality to this whole event, and when I think of Kurt getting it, one, I was surprised that he didn't already have one. All right, but there also is this aspect where, Kurt comes from an acting family. His father, Bing Russell, is the type of actor that I'm not even sure that they exist anymore. These old kind of cowboy character actors. They have little bit parts in this movie and that movie, on this TV show, on this Twilight Zone. They get work, they get this, they get that, and they have good years, they have bad years. But that's the kind of family, and that's the kind of that's the industry that Kurt grew up in. And then as a young man, before he started starring in movies, even in the Disney movies, he's guesting on TV shows. I in particularly remember Lost in Space, all right, that I saw when I was a kid with Michael Ansara played his father, and him and Will Robinson had kind of this mano-a-mano, who's the bigger man test. And actually, I was rooting for Kurt, to tell you the truth, over Bill Mummy. And I like Bill Mummy, but I was rooting for Kurt. But then also, Kurt got a Western show called The Trial of Jamie McPeters. Now, there were little boys on other Western shows, the Riflemen and stuff, but Kurt was the star of the show. He was the only Western show where the little boy, Jamie McPeters, was the star. And guess what? They still had to have a cowboy guy beat up people from time to time, so who they got as his co-star was Charles Bronson. Yeah! But then so when you look at it on an honor like this, and think back to, yes, of course, Kurt is Snake Plissken, of course, Kurt is all these different wonderful characters, but then you also think about the history of Hollywood. Kurt has acted alongside David Jansen playing Harry O. He has acted alongside David McCullum playing Ilya Kuryakin. He has acted alongside Michael Parks as Bronson. All right, Cameron Mitchell as Buck on High Chaparral. One of the things when we did Hateful Eight was it was very much inspired, as far as I was concerned, by a lot of the episodic Western TV shows. Kurt is the only guy I could have cast who has been on a High Chaparral. He's been on The Virginian. He's been on these other shows. So I think it is just this wonderful thing for the history of Kurt's career that we are here right now today.
Private Judy Benjamin, as y'all know, was a spoiled rich girl who enlists in the army, and she has to discover herself for the first time in her own independence, and she ends up dumping her fiancé at the altar. This just broke ground in so many ways, and it just spoke to the idea that women had been grossly underestimated in life and were sick and tired of being defined solely by their romantic interests. And it just taught me that feminism comes in lots of different packages, and that a woman can be feminine, love fashion, and be taken seriously in the world. So the next day I called the producer and I accepted the role of Elle Woods, all because of Goldie.
Please welcome Kate Hudson to the stage.
So it's so great to be here celebrating my parents on what is quite a momentous occasion. And as my parents always say, it's a red letter day. They're both here, and we're all here celebrating their contribution to the arts and the silver screen. I always thought I'd be talking about them at like a wedding or something, but since a wedding doesn't seem to be in our near future ever, this may be my only opportunity. So this is amazing, but see, in our family, we don't really massage each other's egos, right? That's like not how we do things. It's our work, when we talk about our work, we don't go into it in much depth. It's sort of like, hey, that movie was awesome, Pa, Mom, Ollie, Wyatt, or it's like, yeah, that was a good one, but that's not the best. So I never get to really expound upon their life's work just because it's not our focus. I could stand here and tell stories about experiences on set or witnessing my parents' strong work ethic, but as their child, what really stands out, maintained a sense of normalcy and closeness with every one of their children. Something my mom would say is the only job she refused to fail at, raising her kids, and was always her number one. And my pa's values are right aligned. That said, they never hid away their love for making movies and telling stories. They shared that love with us.
Thank you, Kate.
To present you both with certificates of recognition for receiving your stars on the Walk of Fame, and I congratulate you.
Did we just get married? We've never had a celebration like this before. But I'm not going to pop the question, I swear. We've done that. Thank you, Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, my beautiful daughter. And my other beautiful daughter. Oh my God. I was very, very emotional. I didn't think I was going to be emotional today. Obviously, we're doing a lot of things and we're busy. But this actually means more to me as I start reflecting on things, which I don't really write my speeches, but I really am speaking from my heart. Hollywood Boulevard was something that I was a dancer, and I carried my dancing shoes up here looking for an agent. And I couldn't find an agent. I found a fabulous dentist, but I couldn't find an agent. And I had the biggest portfolio anybody's ever seen. And I remember I walked into one guy who was there, and I said, well, I don't know if I'm funny. I'm not quite sure what I am. He said, well, I don't know what you are either, because you're too pretty to be funny, and you're too this to be that, and you're too that to be that. And I thought, well, that's fine. I'm really a dancer. And I worked as dancing, and that's what I came here to do. I wanted to be on TV shows. I wanted to go home, and I wanted to marry a dentist, and I wanted to have a normal life. And it's really what I wanted, even though my dad told me I wasn't normal. So basically, I'm here on Hollywood Boulevard, and I'm remembering when I lived up on Argyle. And I'm remembering when I finally got that dance show that I was on, Andy Griffith and Don Knotts and Tennessee Ernie Ford, and I'd hit there's the jackpot. I was so happy. And an agent came up to me out of 12 beautiful girls saying, do you have an agent? I went, oh my God. You mean I don't have to walk on Hollywood Boulevard anymore and look for an agent? I said, well, actually, no, I don't. He said, well, I'd like you to come see me. I'm with William Morris. And I go to William Morris' office, which of course I had to be reminded because I thought he really just wanted a date. I didn't think he really wanted to sign me to William Morris. And anyway, so I rushed over there, and the next thing I know, I'm sitting with all these agents, and then I'm just put up to Desilu Studios, talk about the fabulous Hollywood and every story that we've heard growing up, right down there. And I walked in there, and the lady there was actually on a switchboard. It shows you how old I am. Boom. And she said, "Oh dear, did you get a script? You're the only girl that got a script all day." And I said, "I did get a script, but you know, I'm too young for the part." So I went back home and I got a call that you got the part. And I said, "But I'm too young." And they said, "No, they wrote a part in for you." So as we start talking about life, stardom, destiny, all the things that you say, what does this mean to you? What does this star mean to you? Does it really mean that you're a star? When you're acting there at Desilu Studios and George Schlatter, one of the loves of my life, came there and said, "I think I want to talk to her." And he was the man of laughing. He started laughing. "Hey, you want to go?" "Yeah." I just said yes. That star is part of yes. I didn't know what it meant to be a star. I didn't know what it meant to be known. I didn't know what it meant to be signing autographs when people didn't know who I was. So I had to figure out who I was. Am I that Goldie? Am I that Goldie? Am I that Goldie? So the question at that time in my life was, I wasn't a star. I was trying to figure out who I was. And that to me is what I look at as I look at this star and I say, who am I? I didn't get my white picket fence, but I got a beautiful house. I said yes to Kurt Russell on Swing Shift. I said yes to a few other men, but I said yes to Bill Hudson. And without Bill, I would never have Katie and Oliver. Everything we do in our life, all of us, by saying yes, can lead us to that star. I wish my mom and my dad could see me because I know that they would be really happy for me. And we wouldn't believe it. But this little girl that danced in the living room that wanted a regular life didn't quite get that. But I got a hell of a lot more.
I did write this. It's going to take about 3 minutes. I'll own up to it right now. So, now, if you need someone to speak for you at something like this, you'd like to have someone who's good with words, who has a great appreciation and connection to the motion picture industry. An unabashed showman would be nice, but someone who will cast aside the imposition of the request to appear. For that, you need a friend. So Quentin, thanks for being all of the above, but especially for being my good friend. Alan Horn, Disney, for stepping up to sponsor my portion of this. I thank you. Otherwise, this would have been posthumous. And to the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce for your kind consideration. Thank you. Today, I'm reminded of how lucky I am to have worked and played with so many talented people in a really fun and exciting business. Actors, actresses, directors, producers, writers, all the crew members of all the shows, especially and specifically makeup, hair, and wardrobe. Dennis Liggard, I'm talking to you. Studio executives, studio heads. Walt Disney, I'm talking to you. Distributors, exhibitors. A few really important agents, and one secretary in particular. 56 years, that seems right now like one big, beautiful, fleeting summer camp. But I owe a special debt of appreciation to my families, and I've never had the opportunity to do it publicly, so I'm going to do it. First, to my mom, Where are you, Mom? She's sitting right there.
Yeah. Way to go.
Louise. St. Lulu. And to my dad, who's sitting up there. Maybe watching, maybe doing something else. For literally, I thank you for everything in my life. To my first and toughest and fairest critics, and always with love, my three fantastic sisters, Jill, Jody, and Jamie. I love you. To my four kids, Boston, Oliver, Kate, and Wyatt. Any father would be blessed to be gifted with the pure joy and lifetime of love any one of you have brought to me. To be gifted with four is a familial embarrassment of riches. I love you all. Of course, none of that would have happened to me if it were not for you, Goldie. To you, I owe my wonderful life. Simply put, Goldie, I cherish you. And all the stars in the sky or on the boulevard can't hold a candle to that. And so if I'm to be honored with this sweet token of memorabilia, that is to be sunk forever in the cement of a street whereupon I will be subjected to the constant harshness of the blazing California sun, blowing winds, and pouring rains, and stray dogs of both the canine and human variety, perhaps in need of a little relief, and trod upon by the soles of shoes caked with earth from all corners of the globe, there's no one else I'd rather be next to for all of that than Goldie Hawn. And finally, to those of you who, perhaps like me, are crazy, madly, and deeply in love with motion pictures, remember this. The first part's Albert Schweitzer, the second part's Kurt Russell. If you feel that light in your life going out, it can be blown again into flame by an encounter with another human being, even if that human being may exist only in the magical, mystical, magnificent world of motion pictures. So thank you all for coming. I'll see you tomorrow, not as me, but as someone far more impressive, as Ego the Living Planet in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. See you in the movie.
All right.
That I'm thinking.
Thank you so much. Is this the closest thing Goldie and Kurt have ever had to a wedding? Back up. Did it feel like a wedding? All right, thank you. Cake, please. Cake, please.
Well, that was much harder to vlog today, guys, than what it was when I went to see John Goodman, because they decided now you had to go stand in a line and get a wristband, even to stand in the fan section to watch that. So by the time I got my wristband and waited in line, and then they took you over in like groups of 10 into the line, then you could find a place. Like, it was hard to find a place where I could get good angles and not be in the sun the whole time. But I think it was a pretty good event. I mean, I think I got some good footage of Goldie and Kurt, and it was great to see Katerina and Arturo from Overboard. Now I'm dropping Jaw off because when I was leaving the event, the Walk of Fame ceremony, I saw a catering last minute substitute needed, and I signed up for it. It's actually only a few blocks away from my house, but I figured I'd bring him over here and let him play while I'm gone tonight. Well, Pollyanna's waiting on him. Well, looks like we're gonna be working at the very top of that today. Well, here's the view from where I'm working, and I can actually see my apartment from here, if you can believe that. Well, gang, good night. Hey, look, it's the observatory.